live from Los Angeles, please welcome the award-winning magician and mentalist, the incredible Joe Skilton.
Hello everybody and welcome to the launch of Velixo 7. My name is Joe Skilton and I'm thrilled to be a part of the festivities today. We've got a lot lined up for you. You're going to get some really terrific information all about Velixo 7, which is, as everyone knows, your favorite reporting tool with your favorite ERP. And everyone who uses Microsoft Excel loves using Velixo. But we've got a lot coming up in store. And first, we're going to talk a little bit about something that's near and dear to my heart, magic. Velixo 7 is magic because it lets you keep track of all of your money. And it makes sure that the money that you have in Excel is always accurately reflecting what's in your ERP. We're going to grab a volunteer from the audience and do some magic right now. Gabriel, you're out there somewhere, our fearless CEO. Gabriel, could you pick somebody from our live stream that we can do a little magic with? Colleen, how are you? Hello.
Hi.
Now, Colleen, for all of our viewers at home or in their offices who are watching right now, if you could just clear the air a bit, they did tell you that you would be participating in this live stream, but nobody told you exactly what we were doing and nobody told you what to say, what to do, or anything like that. Is that correct?
Correct.
Wonderful. Well, Colleen, it's a pleasure to meet you. My name's Joe. And a quick question for you. What's your relationship with Valixo?
I am a Acumatica consultant, and I've worked with Gabriel for the past couple of years, implementing Velixo and working with customers on building the reports.
Wonderful. Very cool. That's absolutely fantastic. You're with Innovative Cloud Solutions, if I'm not mistaken. Is that right?
That's correct.
Oh, fantastic. Well, here's what we're going to do. We're going to try something a little fun. As you know, we always like to work with Excel. It's one of the most popular programs in the world. I want you to imagine that this blank card is actually an empty cell in Excel. It's an empty cell in Excel, which is kind of easy to imagine. They're rectangular and they're white, right? I'm going to go ahead and take out a pen. Give me a minute. And let's keep Colleen on the screen just for now. Colleen, I'm going to think of a 4-digit number. Now, I'm not going to tell you what this 4-digit number is, but I'm thinking of a 4-digit number. And just so that it stays on screen, but also so that you can't see what I'm writing, I'm going to write it right behind my head. I've written it right on the other side. Okay, my handwriting is legible, but it's not the best. But I've written on the other side of this card. And I'm going to get rid of this pen. I want you to know I'm fully committed to this number. Now imagine that this number is a number in Excel. And you've just been working in whatever ERP you happen to use. Let's say Acumatica. You've been working in Acumatica. And now you've got a new number. Okay? So I want you to think of any 4-digit number. Literally any 4-digit number. In fact, I'll put on a little mind-reading music while this goes on. A little in the low volume there. Can you think of a 4-digit number? Do you have one?
Yes.
I'd like you to say that 4-digit number out loud now.
4128.
Now, this is really interesting because you could have said any number. Am I correct about that?
Absolutely.
And you know how you have your number in Acumatica? And then you go over into Excel and you hit that little button. And what happens in Excel?
It updates with that number.
Exactly. And I want you to notice, you could have said any number, but this is the number, 4128. You had a totally free choice. Everybody who's watching at home, look at Colleen's face right now. She has no idea how that worked. That's what we love. Give a round of applause to Colleen. That would be fantastic. Colleen, thank you so much for participating. I hope you get a lot of value out of the meeting today.
Thanks.
Thank you. You know what? We're going to try something interesting as well with a customer. We just picked Innovative Cloud Solutions. They've been working with us for a while. Let's go with a customer, somebody who uses Velixo on their end. Gabriel, let's pick somebody fun. Hello? Oh, wow, we got a bunch of people. This is fantastic. Kevin and Hillary, they're muted. You guys can unmute yourselves really quick if you want to. Oh, there we go. How are you, Kevin?
Doing well. Thanks, Joe.
Wonderful. So what's your story with Velixo?
We implemented Acumatica about a year ago, and Velixo is our add-on reporting tool that we've been using, and it's been quite successful for us.
That's fantastic. I'm really, really glad to hear it. Well, we're going to do something really interesting, and it's going to involve all three of you. Oh, Gabriel
Sorry,
just joined
guys.
the call.
Sorry to interrupt. There's still some music playing. I don't know if it's coming from you. It's the mind reading.
No
music.
problem.
Yes.
Look, now it has gone away. We're going to use something with all three of you, and it's going to be a lot of fun. I've got a couple symbols here. These are, well, I made them on my computer, little laser printer. They're kind of 5 little cards, and these are symbols that mean something for today. We've got a magic wand, because Valixo is magic. We've also got the Valixo logo. You may see this in your icon tray from time to time. We also have 7, because it's Valixo 7, and you all recognize this icon, I'm sure. The last icon I'm actually going to keep secret for a moment. I'm going to place it down here. And I know what you're saying. Joe, you're placing it down where? I'll show you right now. We've got another camera. We've got a full studio going on over here. So here's the basic idea. I'm going to turn these over. And in fact, I'll turn over this one as well. That's an award. That's always good to have award-winning products and services. I'm sure you'll agree. I've got red cards here. I'm going to mix those up. Kevin, here's the basic idea. You're going to try to guess which one of these cards matches which one of these cards. For instance, I'll tell you that on the other side of this card, it could be a wand, the Valixo logo. It could be the award symbol. It doesn't matter. It could be one of them. You're going to guess. You're going to use your instinct. Which do you believe this is?
The 7.
The 7. So I'm going to put that right there. Is that fair?
Fair.
Fair. Okay, perfectly fine. And let's move on to Hillary. Hillary, I'm going to go with this one for you. Which symbol do you believe this is?
The award.
The award. I'm going to put that right on over there. And how about over here? Let's go to Mary. Mary, how are ya?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing really well. Which would you think? Which would you think?
Wand.
Okay, and the last decision, we're going to go back on to Kevin. Now, Kevin, I could put these two here, or if you want, I could switch them. So it's up to you. I can do this or switch. Your call.
Do that way. Don't switch.
Do it this way. Don't switch.
Yeah.
I'll put them right there. Is that fair? I'm going to leave these here for a minute. I'm going to show you. You've actually done pretty well. I was worried about Hillary for a minute, but she got the award perfectly right. And we had 7. I think 7 is pretty good too. But we put these here. Are you sure you don't want to switch? Are you positive?
I'm positive.
You know, it's instincts like that that allow innovation to occur, and I think you've got absolutely fantastic instincts. 5 for 5. Valixo really is magic, and they're in order for a reason. As you know, it's magic, right? It's magic, Valixo, 7, and Excel. And we've got the award, and the award is last for a reason. I'll tell you the award is last for a reason because I've got a little surprise for you. Although none of us worked together, none of us met before the show, Gabriel did tell me that you would be participating. And the reason he told me was because you've won something. Right over here, we've got it in the back. It's been on screen, covered up by my name the whole time. I'm gonna show it to you. You, believe it or not, are our 20, hit play, 2022, oh, it's very heavy, customer of the year.
Oh, nice.
Awesome.
You have no idea how heavy this is. No idea. It's insane. And to talk about Valixo 7 and to give you the kudos you deserve, I'm going to turn it over now to Gabriel Michaud. Sir, take it away.
Thanks, Joe.
Thank you so much, Joe. And first of all, before I start, please join me in congratulating our customer of the year, Life Storage. I would like to thank their Acumatica partner as well, ICS. They've been great to work with. Great team, Kevin, Hillary, and Mary. Once again, congratulations. It's a pleasure working with you, and I hope that you will be very happy with what we have to show today with Valixo 7. So thanks again for your participation, and make sure to stay for the rest of the presentation.
Thank you,
Thank
Gabriel.
you.
Okay. I hope everyone is excited and ready to make magic with Excel and Valixo. Before we get started, I have a few important housekeeping items. Everyone who registered for this event will be getting the slides by email. The recording itself will be available on YouTube right after the presentation. Actually, since we are broadcasting live through YouTube, you could actually start right now and listen to the magic performance once again if you wanted to. Please subscribe to Velixo on YouTube if you haven't done so already. There's lots of additional content for you. We constantly add new videos, tutorials, and very useful information on Excel and Velixo. If you have questions, please use the live chat or the comments section on YouTube or LinkedIn if you are listening through LinkedIn. The Velixo team is monitoring the chat, and we will answer by chat during the webinar or at the end of the presentation, if possible. Also, we are always trying to improve, so please do not hesitate to share your feedback on this webinar or make product suggestions. Our webinars always bring a fair amount of people who are not yet familiar with Velixo, and I'd like to take just a few minutes to bring everyone up to speed. Velixo brings the power of Acumatica to Excel. Users love Velixo because of the familiarity of Excel and the power that it gives them. I'm sure that everyone on the call today is an Excel user, and good news, this means that you already know how to use Velixo. And I'd like to show you how simple it is. On my computer right now, I have this P&L. So there's a pretty complex set of instructions. This is a real file that was sent to us by a company that is now, fortunately, a Velixo client. So can you imagine having to go through all these instructions every month, every day, or even multiple times per day? Well, let's try to make this better and link the spreadsheet to Velixo. So I will just go to the main profit and loss and click my favorite toolbar in Excel, the Acumatica toolbar. So I will click the connection manager and add a new connection. So let's just enter my Acumatica URL. So this is where I connect and my Acumatica credentials. Then I will connect. Let's give it a few seconds. Perfect. And then all I have to do is start using the Velixo functions. Velixo adds over 70 functions to Excel, functions that are designed to cover all the key modules in Acumatica, starting with financials, projects, generic inquiries, and much more. These functions are very simple to use. You can discover them by simply typing in any cell like that. Or if you're not familiar with these functions, you can also see all of them by clicking this button here in Excel and then browsing for the Acumatica functions. Okay, so let's pick General Ledger, and I want this one here. I want to calculate the turnover. So I just need to select my Acumatica ledger, my account code, and I believe actually I should have opened that. I have my account codes here. So let's do it one more time. Demo, ledger, account class, account code. And then I have a branch here. We have multiple branches. And finally, my financial period. So once you have the formula in one cell, you can very easily take it and then apply it to all the other cells in your spreadsheet. So let's do it here. And then let's copy that as well to the right. I have my budget column. Perfect. My spreadsheet is now linked to Acumatica. To refresh, I just need to click the refresh button in the Acumatica toolbar, like that. Or I can simply change the financial period to look at a different period, just like that. As you can see, the data refreshes right away. This is pretty cool because you no longer have to export data, to copy-paste data from Acumatica. You have your Acumatica information updated in real time. As you can see, something is strange here. I have a huge variance against my budget. And thanks to Velixo, I can also drill down on myself. So let's just look at the other expenses account here. Hit drill down. And look at that meals and entertainment account. So let me just click view transactions here. This will bring up my Acumatica window, and I can see that we have a Las Vegas New Year party. What is that? Let's open. And thanks to drill down, I'm able to see the original transaction and even open any files that were attached to it. So let's open that. And ooh, that's a pretty expensive bar tab. Well, I wish Joe was still on the call with us. He could probably make this expense disappear. But for now, let's just use Acumatica to reverse this transaction and then try to locate the manager who approved this crazy expense. We are just scratching the surface of what Velixo can do. With Velixo, you can build project reports, access data from any screen or any generic inquiry, automate the distribution of reports, build budgets, and more. If you are interested in a full demo, visit velixo.com. Before we jump into the main topic of this webinar, Velixo 7, I wanted to give everyone an update on Velixo. We're just entering summer here, and the first 6 months of 2022 have been very exciting, packed with growth and recognition. We started the year off with the Acumatica ISV Partner of the Year award. Today, Velixo is by far the most popular and top-rated solution on the Acumatica marketplace. We now have over 850 clients in 23 countries. To support our growth, many new employees joined us recently. And I would like you to welcome Marianne, Purya, Alessandro, Indira, and Artem. I am grateful to all our customers, partners, and employees for their support and for making Velixo a success. And if I may, I have a favor to ask everyone. Please review Velixo online. You can go to the Acumatica community site or G2, and actually even simpler, velixo.com/review. We will be giving away a gift card to one lucky reviewer, so make sure to complete your review today. We pride ourselves on continually advancing our product to make your job easier and to help you make better business decisions. Each evolution of Velixo brings new features that maximize the power of Excel and increase the ease of reporting. Today, we are here to present you some of the top features in our new version, Velixo 7. Velixo 7 brings a metric ton of improvements in 3 broad areas. First, we supercharge your writeback with new generic writeback and a streamlined user interface. We help you report smarter and better thanks to brand new dynamic aware functions. And 3, you will reach new heights thanks to dozens of improvements based on user feedback. Let's first take a look at the enhancements we've made to writeback. Generic writeback is the biggest innovation in Velixo since we first introduced writeback. As you know, we already make it possible to post transactions, update budgets, and forecasts. Our users have been asking for more scenarios, and we delivered a very flexible solution that builds on the very flexible Acumatica integration services and import scenarios. With generic writeback, you can add or update data anywhere as well as automate any page in your Acumatica ERP system. And let's take a look. Okay, so let's imagine that you receive a bunch of invoices from one vendor. Let's open this first one here. So this one is coming from FedEx. You actually have a bunch of invoices like that. I downloaded 3 files here just to show you. So for each invoice, you have to enter the transaction in Acumatica. So let's do that as if you were an Acumatica user that does not benefit from writeback. I just want to show you the difference between like the manual way and using generic writeback. So you would go to Bills and Adjustments. You would create a new transaction, type the vendor name, and then the invoice number. So let's say 28786. Some description here. You would add a line, enter the price, change the GL account code, save, remove from old, and release. Now imagine that you have 75 invoices like that, and you receive a batch of invoices 3 times a day. So that's very time consuming, and there's definitely a way to improve that by using the new generic writeback feature in Velixo. So now let's try doing the same thing with a sheet that's already using generic writeback. I will switch to Excel. I have an example here that I want to show you. So this one, let me zoom in a bit for you. This one only has 1 line, but we're going to add the additional invoices to it. So let's take the second one. I add 85992, and 1 second, 85992 is 1295. 85992, 1295. And then we have 66916, that's 8857. Okay. 66196, did I get that right? 66916. 66916. And then I forgot the amount, but let's enter it like that. Perfect. So now, thanks to generic writeback, you can add all these lines and just click the Perform Writeback button in the Acumatica toolbar. And the system will go ahead and create the transactions exactly as you want. Even better, and it's actually something I forgot to do when I created the transactions manually, but it can also upload attachments. So the PDF invoices that you saw earlier, they are actually now uploaded and linked to the transactions. So let's go back to Acumatica and take a look at the 3 bills that we created. Here we go, FedEx 123 is the correct reference number, and you also have the PDF document that has been attached to it. Here we go. Okay, so you might think that this is something complex and that it takes a very long time to set up, but it's actually very easy because Velixo provides you with a very simple tool right here in the writeback section. So let me just highlight that for you here. I know the toolbar is a bit small, but right here in the redesign writeback menu, if you click New Sheet, you will see that you have the generic writeback option. And when you click generic writeback, we show you a list of all the different scenarios that already exist. Odds are that you already have a set of scenarios that cover your needs, but it's actually possible to create your own scenarios. So in my case, I used the Velixo import bill scenario. I created a new worksheet. And then I just modified it a bit because I didn't want to enter FedEx on all the lines. So I simply modified my writeback formula here to indicate that it should always be FedEx and that the attachment should be the invoice number .pdf. Okay, so that's something that really helps streamline the work, and it's just one example of what you can do using generic writeback. The second scenario I want to show you with generic writeback is something that I'm sure many of you have run into, quotations and estimations using Excel. So give me a second. I just need to locate this file on my computer. I forgot to open it prior to the session today. It's somewhere here. Give me 1 second. I'm really sorry. It's Qt demo layout adjusted right here. Perfect. And I'll bring my screen up. And just a second. Perfect. Here you go. So let me just log in. And actually, this sample will let me highlight many features of Velixo. Earlier in my demo, I created a simple PNL, and this PNL was linked to Acumatica using Acumatica functions. Well, here it's already something that you could do with the previous versions of Velixo. You could, for instance, create a quotation spreadsheet and load the prices for your products from Acumatica. So this way you can guarantee that whenever you are building a quotation, that you are quoting accurate and up-to-date prices. The same goes with the customer information. If you have the customer address, phone number in Acumatica, well, you could pull that using the GI function and the GI lookup function, okay? But now with generic writeback, you can actually take that quotation and push it back to Acumatica. And again, this is done by using the Velixo writeback function. And the cool thing about writebacks is that you can have multiple transactions, multiple imports executed in just one click. Okay, so here, for this quote, we actually want to create, number one, the customer, number two, the project, number three, the sales quote, and number four, the project estimates. So that's a lot of clicks. You saw me earlier, I created a vendor invoice. It was a simple one, but here it's a lot of data. So we do have the customer writeback, we have the project writeback, we have the quote writeback, the project task writeback, and we even have the forecast. So it's all there. And with the power of Excel, as you know, you can have calculation formulas. So this is something, it's not a real company, but we did an estimate as if you were a company doing tiling and flooring. So you estimate based on the area to cover and the type of tile that you want to install. So here, if I go to, where is it, the calculation, I can decide that I want to do 2,000 square foot instead, and my flooring is just 1 inch thick. So it calculates everything. It generates the estimate with the accurate Acumatica prices, and then I can just take that write back button here, and it will create the quote, give me the quote number that was created, and it lets me go back to Acumatica to see the resulting quote, project, and all the data. Pretty cool, right? I do have one last scenario that I want to present, and that also relies on generic writeback. This is something that could apply very much for any company that has multiple branches, multiple locations, or subsidiaries. So imagine that you are Pollos Hermanos and that you receive a vendor invoice, and this vendor invoice needs to be recharged to all your locations. So if you are doing this manually, you would most likely create the following transactions. First, the HU would invoice all the branches, and in the branches, you would create an AP bill. So again, that's a lot of clicks, a lot of calculations, and it's something that can be automated and done very easily, again, using generic writeback. So let's take a look. I will switch back to Excel here. I have this file. Here we go. Perfect. So that's a sample spreadsheet I built prior to the webinar today. It uses the Acumatica generic inquiry function. So let me just enter the invoice number here. So 2186, and let's press enter and see what happens. So you can see that's coming from Goodman Dry Cleaners. It's not laundry, but laundering fee, and it's 2.4 million. And below here in the grid, you can see the allocation. So I want to charge 20% to Albuquerque, 40% to Brownfield, and so on. So the system calculates that correctly. If I change the percentages, you can see that it updates. And in column D and column E, we do have the write back functions that will push this data back to Acumatica. Okay. Since we are using Excel, it becomes very easy to modify this model to suit your requirements. For instance, and this actually came from a real demo we did to a client recently, you might want to have a markup fee, okay, or admin fee that you add to this. So let's add a column to the spreadsheet here. I will call that markup, and we'll say it's 5%, and we'll modify the formula here to multiply by 1 plus our percentage, press enter, and boom, as you can see now, it has updated the calculation. So if we decide that it's no longer 5, it's 10, well, it will update that, and then we can simply click the button here or use the Acumatica writeback button to create all the transactions in Acumatica. Finally, please note that this could even work between Acumatica tenants and instances. Velixo allows you to set up multiple connections within the same workbook. So you could create transactions in completely different Acumatica tenants or instances. It works exactly the same way as what you saw in my demonstration. So this is called generic writeback. It is part of Velixo 7. This is a feature that is included for all the clients who signed up with Velixo, I believe, before April 1st this year, and it's offered as an optional add-on to new clients that sign up today. With that said, I would like to bring our CTO, Pavel, on this call. Pavel will continue and present you many other exciting features in Velixo, and while Pavel is presenting, I will be chatting with our guest today. Hey, Pavel, how are you?
Hey, Gabriel, doing good. How are you?
Good to see you. Where are you calling from today?
From Portugal, as usual.
That's why you have that funky shirt.
Of course, like that. That's the business dress here.
Yeah,
All
I love that.
righty. So
Good.
I'm sharing my screen, and I just want to confirm with you, Gabriel, that you can see it and that you can hear me well.
Yes, absolutely.
All right, perfect. So, yeah, thanks for having me again. And I'm very, very excited to see such a fantastic attendance to the webinar. I think it's larger than last year, and I am just as pumped as you are about this new major annual release. And before saying anything else, I would like to first give a huge, huge shout out to our engineering team at Valixo that makes me and everyone at Valixo proud today. So the second major theme of the upcoming release, as Gabriel mentioned, is reporting smarter and better. And there are a few key improvements to mention here. First of all, more and more Valixo functions can now be used with Excel dynamic arrays, or in other words, with functions that spill to multiple cells in their return values. So these new Valixo functions, or rather the old Valixo functions working in a new way, they can now accept and return a spill range instead of just a single cell. And I will show you in just a minute how convenient and robust that can be. Next, Valixo plays much nicer with any pivot tables that you have in your reports. Like in contrast to the previous version, now during the refresh, we will also take care of automatically refreshing any pivot tables you might have in your reports. And in addition to that, after you use such functionality as copy without formulas or report distribution, we will try to smartly clean up in the resulting file. And if we see that any pivot tables still reference the original file, but they could have referenced the new parameterized file that you just produced, we'll try to fix those pivot table references for you automatically. And last but not least, when using the much loved hide zero rows functionality of Valixo, we now give you the ultimate flexibility in how you would like to handle any blank gaps that remain after Valixo has hidden the 0 rows. But I guess the picture is worth 1,000 words, so let's jump right into demos. All righty. So here is a list of all active Gizmo development projects at Valixo. And I'm just as surprised as you are to see the word Gizmo. I don't know what that is, but I know for sure that this list of projects is very fluid because, as you can see, they're all pretty short-lived. And as we'll see in just a minute, they're pretty expensive. So no idea what's going on, but those are the projects that we have at Valixo. And so suppose that in this report, we'd like to get the budgeted amount for all those development projects. So how do we do that, like in a sort of a naive way? We can type in one of the Valixo formulas, say project budget amount of my demo connection of the project that we have in the first column. Okay, waiting for a bit until the data comes through. Then we copy down the formula, and here we see that, yeah, well, that's a fair amount for a project that just lasts 2 weeks. I wonder what they're doing there. Anyway, let's go ahead and create another, or just rather activate another project that we have in Acumatica. This one is an NFT Gizmo development project. It costs $9 million and it lasts 2 days. So when I activate it and go back to Excel, now when I hit refresh, suddenly I see that this list of projects, which is, by the way, a GI call, which means it returns a spilling range. It's a dynamic list. It has 4 rows right now, but there isn't a matching budget amount. And we could, of course, do this. We could copy down the formula once again and see this crazy $9 million in the F column, but it actually works both ways. So as I said, this list of active projects is pretty fluid. It can grow, it can shrink. And what happens if we suspend this project because we think it is just crazy expensive, and open, sorry, I lost it, open the report again and refresh it. Now, again, we're down to just 3 rows, and we're seeing an ugly error in the 4th row in budgeted amount. Well, No surprise. I mean, this might not seem like a huge problem, but imagine, I'm sure many of you used Valixo report distribution functionality. And in report distribution, this file here becomes a template, which is then parameterized, and it generates like dozens of different reports in different financial periods with different filters. And Valixo takes care of refreshing those reports for you on the fly as it generates it. And this would be a problem with dynamically generated reports, because we don't want to see those errors here, right? And having to fix this manually in every file that is generated by report distribution would be a bummer, obviously. So as you can see, spilling functions in Excel, like the GI we have here, can indeed be troublesome. And before Velixo 7, we did have a workaround, and the workaround was to use the conditionals. I'll show what I mean by that. So instead of using the project budget amount function directly, I'm doing an if. Then I reference the project ID, and I say, if this is not empty, then it's a project budget amount of demo of the same cell, A5, and otherwise it's an empty value. And now I need to think to think ahead of the game, right? Because I don't know how many projects there's going to be in the list, and so I need to copy this formula way down. So, for example, if I anticipate that it can be up to 1,000 projects at any given time, I'll have to copy this down to until F 1,000 something, and this works. Obviously, because in all those rows that don't have the projects, there isn't a matching amount, but the formula is there. It just returns nothing because it has no matching project ID. And while it helps us solve the dynamic sizing issue of the GI, it has its own downsides. Namely, this formula here will actually often spoil the printing range of your workbook in case you decide to print it. And perhaps more importantly, it will also slow down the calculation, because all those formulas, even though they return nothing, all 1,000 formulas will need to be recalculated on every refresh. And we saw in a couple of customer reports that this can really slow things down. Well, and last but not least, this formula here, I'm sure you agree with me, it just looks ugly. So can we do not ugly? For Velixo 7, we couldn't, but today we can. So with Velixo 7, we can make the project budget amount function as dynamic as the GI formula it references. Project budget amount of demo. And instead of referencing just a single cell, I'm going to reference the spill range of A5 by putting a little hash at the end. With a little bit more transformation, because we are not interested in the whole table. We're just interested in the first column of the table that contains project IDs, right? So I'm doing index of the spilling range, and then I'm saying just the first column of that table. And when I do that, lo and behold, my formula, instead of returning just a single value, returns a spilling range whose size corresponds to the size of the table. So let's test that. I'll go back and activate my NFT project again. Refresh. Whoa. Four amounts. And now I suspend it. Refresh. So as you can see, it grows and shrinks together with the table. No errors, no manual interventions. Like, it plays very nicely with report distribution. It's a completely smooth experience, fully dynamic. And just so you know, this is supported not just for the project budget amount function I showed you, but for all other GL and project module functions too. So I hope that you'll love this feature as much as we do at Velixo, because internally we have been heavily using this feature for a while. In preview, of course, but you're going to see it in the upcoming release. All right. This is not the right report. Let me find it. Zero handling. Perfect. This is the one. So another cool thing I wanted to show you in this section are the new options for handling 0 rows. So this is probably also a functionality that you know from Velixo, how it can hide the 0 rows in your reports for you, but I'm going to demonstrate it as part of this short demo. So this report here shows the turnovers of some of the important cash accounts in the company. And it's a frequent requirement that we're only interested in non-zero turnovers. So can we easily hide all the 0 amounts in this file? It turns out we can. So Velixo exposes something called auto hide unhide 0 rows in selected range. I select the column with the amounts, I push the button, and lo and behold, all the 0 rows are gone. And this doesn't look too bad, but what happens if we change this to an unlucky period range where most of the turnovers are empty? When auto hide functionality triggers, we see that there are just way too many blank rows between the sections here. And historically, Valixo did not touch blank rows during the hide 0 rows operation because if you have multiple sections in your report, having blanks between sections can be meaningful for formatting. But having so many of them is just ooh. So Valixo 7 delivers a new option that puts you in control of those blank rows. You can now decide to keep them as is. I'm opening the options window in the Acumatica ribbon, and here is the option that I'm talking about: blank rows handling in hide 0 rows. Brand new option in Velixo 7. By default, it's preserve all blank rows, as we always did, but you can now select either hide all blank rows or another option. Let's start with hide all blank rows and see what it does. So now, when I reapply the auto hide logic, all the blanks are gone, but doesn't look as nice. I'm sure you agree with me. So my personal favorite is the third value of the option: hide consecutive blank rows, keep at most 1. It really looks the nicest. Let's take a look. Yeah, now when I reapply the auto hide logic, it is just one nicely looking blank row between the sections, and we know for sure that all the amounts in the report are 0. If we change it back to another period range, we're just seeing the non-zero amounts and no ugly multiple blanks between the sections. All right. But there's more. We at Valixo are committed to help you reach new heights in reporting, which is why for this release, we collected dozens of pieces of feedback from you, our dear customers and partners, and acted upon them to deliver our best release ever. While I can't obviously show you everything today, I'd like to mention a couple of highlights. First of all, Valixo has become much closer to where work actually happens. Velixo help has become much closer to where you're doing your reports. Let me showcase this. Oops, wrong, different file. This is the one. All right, so look at this report where I am trying to list customer invoices produced in any given year. But for some reason, I know for sure that this report did return values before I updated my Acumatica instance from 2020 R1 to 2021 R2, which is the latest version. So I'm completely puzzled what happened here. So the report just returns nothing. And I suspect that it might be an issue with the GI filter. Maybe Acumatica APIs have changed, and now I need to use a different syntax for the filtering. So instead of creating a support request right away, I can now push the brand new support and feedback button in Velixo 7, which opens a self-help side panel right alongside your Excel report and allows you to search for tutorials and self-help articles without ever leaving Excel. All right, so in the article search box, filter period, there is something relevant. It says filtering generic inquiries by financial period IDs. And right away, I'm seeing a troubleshooting questionnaire. Which version of Acumatica do you connect to? If it's 2020 R2 or newer, we have to use the format that puts the month first and the year second, which immediately lets me see the issue here. On older versions of Acumatica, it should have been year month, but now we actually have to use the month and then the year. As soon as I fix my formulas, 1, 2, the data comes through. And No support requests, no feedback loops, no waiting, resolved through self-help in under 5 minutes. Finally, let's look at just one more thing that you also asked for pretty heavily, and it relates to better handling of drill down worksheets. Gabriel has already demonstrated this sexy feature that allows you to click on any cell and see immediately the source transactions for any amount in the report. So we can do that for one cell. Then we're suddenly interested in services and utilities expenses. So we'll drill down into another cell and the other expenses too. The problem is that in collaborative scenarios, especially in auto-saved cloud-based workbooks, the resulting drill-down worksheets can pollute your report if you forget to delete them. So the first improvement is that in Valixo 7, as soon as you try to close the workbook, we will prompt you, would you like to delete the drill-down sheets that were added since you last opened the file? And you can click yes. And when you open the file again, there are no drill down worksheets at all. This is in case you want to keep drill down worksheets side by side with your other worksheets, but there's actually a second way. Also in the workbook options, we have a new option that says drill down sheet destination. And you can set it to a new workbook, just like that. And now when you drill down, your source report will never be polluted with drill down worksheets. It will open in a brand new unsaved workbook, which you can then save for future use or just close without saving. Okay. And as much as I'd love to show you everything, there's just not enough time on this webinar, obviously. But as I mentioned, there are literally tons of improvements that got into Valixo 7. And if you'd like to learn more, stay tuned, follow us at blogvelixo.com and our YouTube channel. Thanks a lot again for being here and for your attention. And I'm giving the mic back to Gabriel.
Hey, very impressive, Pavel. That was a great presentation. Are you pumped up by the new Valixo release?
Obviously, man. I can't wait. It's been too long.
Yeah, so this new release will start rolling out to customers this week. When the update becomes available, you will receive a notification when you start Excel, just like the one that you see on screen. You can read more on Valixo 7 and our future releases by visiting our blog. That's on the Valixo website. You can also follow Valixo on LinkedIn and on YouTube as well. On behalf of everyone at Valixo, thanks for joining us and making Valixo a success. We hope to see you again soon. One last reminder to share your feedback on Valixo with other users by going to valixo.com/review. We will be giving away an Apple gift card at the end of the month to a lucky Valixo user, so make sure to write your review soon. Thanks again, and have a wonderful day filled with magic. Thank you.